I am fortunate to be joined by John Legend, the philanthropist, the activist, and of course, the brilliant Grammy Award winning musician. John, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Mark.
We are in a crazy moment right now, and a lot of people are looking to people like you for answers, not just political answers, but understanding of like how can we better see ourselves in this moment? How can we better be seen in this moment?
Well, first of all, we have the right to be angry. Don't let anyone tell you that we shouldn't be angry, that we should be okay with what we're seeing, uh, that we keep having the same conversation over and over again, that we keep having to affirm the fact that our lives matter. That should be the bare minimum we should expect from this country and from this world. But we still have to keep affirming that to people. And so that should make us angry that we have to keep affirming that the system keeps telling us that our lives aren't worthy of value. And if the system keeps telling us that, we have to angrily and with righteous indignation say that our lives are worth something, and we have to work to change the system so that in systemic ways we show that we value our lives and that the system should value our lives.
How can we take that righteous indignation and outrage that you're talking about and mobilize it in ways? Of course, some people are taken to the streets. What are some other things that can be done?
Well, let's just think about what's happened in the last few years. You know, we had when the Black Lives Matter hashtag was born several years ago in response to Trayvon, in response to Michael Brown, and all these other incidents where we lost our young men and women. We have actually made progress since then. That doesn't mean we fixed the problem, but let's look at what we've done in criminal justice reform. We've seen across the country, places like Chicago, places like Philadelphia, elect way more progressive prosecutors. And those prosecutors are the ones who are making the charging decisions. They're the ones deciding whether or not to pursue police officers who use extrajudicial violence against our citizens. They're the ones deciding whether or not to charge a misdemeanor or a felony to one of our young people that get caught up in doing something wrong. And the fact that we, as a movement, have been able to elect more progressive prosecutors in some of our most populous cities in the country is progress. One of the things that we're talking about now is defunding the police. And it sounds like a radical thing. But we've come to the realization that there are just too many police, and they're occupying Black and brown neighborhoods, and they're not productive. They're not edifying our neighborhoods. They're making things worse. And every time we spend money on hiring another police officer, every time we spend money arming them like they're military officers, every time we spend money so that they can have tanks and all this riot gear, all these things that are meant for them to wage war against our own citizens. Every time we do that, we're not spending that money on things that could be building up our communities.